The quick pass is intercepted. It's going to be run in for an Indiana touchdown. D'Angelo Pons on the first play of the game.
Got to get to the 8. He's going to take off and run. Mendoza weaves his way first and go diving toward the end zone. Touchdown! Beck steps up, delivers downfield, intercepted! Jamari Sharp makes the pick that will clinch Indiana's first national championship.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the most consistently inconsistent IU football podcast out there. The Who's Your Happy Hour. You guys already know who you're talking to, listening to. I guess you're not talking to anybody. It'd be weird if you were, but listening to. It's me, Bragg, and no Brandon. So no any of that stuff as he's talking. And it's Seth. Seth's here. Seth occasionally has some bad internet as well. But Seth, what's up?
I have the clearest voice in all the land.
You do.
No hiccups here.
I'm sorry if that's loud. It does sound loud in mine. I think my headphones are a little high. Unlike you. So
I like you too.
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's get into, you guys know, you guys can tell from the show title what we're here to talk about. That's game number 6.
Cornhuskers, baby.
Yes, the corn strippers of Nebraska, also known as the Cornhuskers. We're going to do that. We're going to do a little program update here to get it started, and then we'll dive into the Huskers and the patheticism. Is that a word?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it really?
I have no idea. I'm just agreeing with you. Come on.
You're a Spanish major from an engineering school. You should know that, right? Wait, not a Spanish major. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spanish and history.
Okay. History was the one I was thinking of.
Possible.
There it is. All right. Let's get into it. We're going to start here. We've got another All-American team announced this week. The Athlon All-American team. Here's your first team, second team, third string, and fourth team IU players. First team, Carter Smith, Elijah Hardy, Tyreek Tucker getting a bump from Phil Steele's team. Second team, Charlie Becker, Amari Farrell, Isaiah Jones. Third team, Nick Marsh. Fourth team, Jamari Sharp. You weren't on this pod last week. You can give me your players that were snubbed if you'd like. And does it matter, any of this?
No, none of it matters. All this is just publicity for nonsense sake, and it's all fun and for people like us to have content because we desperately need content. It's July. There's football next month, though, so we're okay. We're okay. We're going to be okay.
65 days and counting, I believe, until IU's kickoff.
The really cool thing is Elijah Hardy getting a lot of play. He was an unsung hero on last year's team. He was somebody we gave a ton of praise to. We thought he came along. He really rounded himself out. So getting the pub is fantastic for him. Tyreek Tucker, again, all the accolades from last year. That's unsurprising. Isaiah Jones, and again, Nick Marsh. I looked at his stats again. This is purely a projection plus program rating. They're like, what is it, 600 yards each of the last 2 years? Yeah, that's not a guy who's a third team All-American preseason. But you have to anticipate with the offensive coordinator, the quarterback, the program, all of those things. Of course, he has the potential to be a third teamer. And then Jamari Sharp, I thought he had the most upside as being a guy who maybe is a second teamer by the end of the season. I think he has some really nice ceiling to climb to. The only people that I thought were maybe a little bit snubbed perhaps were the guards. I thought Lynch and Evans, had done some really nice things. Maybe they're more honorable mention kind of fringe. And I think Johnny, is a guy who this time at the end of the season, I think he's going to be on a lot of awards lists. So again, I don't expect him to be on it at the preseason. But if we're talking about movers, shakers, people who are going to be contending for these types of awards at the end of the season, I think he's somebody that I'd really be looking at.
So we did this last week where one of the guys that obviously Brandon mentioned Josh Hoover, maybe a snub. Now, granted, there's one quarterback spot on each one of these teams. So you have to be a hypothetical, whatever, top four quarterback. Here are the quarterbacks that made the Athlon 4 teams.
So, hold on. At first, I'm going to say, yeah, he's not a top 4 quarterback. That makes sense. But then you're going to say 4 names here. They're going to piss me off, aren't you?
2 of them, I'm sure. I have not got all of them. So the one I'm sure you could guess in your sleep. That's
Julian Sayin.
No, Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Yes. Second team, Julian Sayin. Now, Brandon had a massive problem with this last week. I do not have a problem with it.
It's program status. It's what he's expected to do. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what's supposed to happen.
I think he's too high on the second team. I think this player that's on the third team should be on the second team. That's Dante Moore.
Yeah. I just I think some of the
is
blooms
one
off his rose a little bit, but yeah.
Laughed at. I don't think so. I think he's a really good player. Here's my problem. And this was his problem as well. Brandon's problem. CJ Carr, again.
No.
Being named in the top 4 quarterbacks in the country.
No. He's getting the Julian Sayin treatment without any of the proof to support that. He is a wonderful handoff specialist. He's really good at the underneath stuff, but he's not a fully polished quarterback. He has years, he has development, and I believe he'll get there. But that's just I'm doing hand motions.
I see it. It's fine.
Yeah,
that can stay with where it's at. So here's the fun part that Brandon kind of finally had this realization, and maybe you'll have it now.
Fluff. There we go. Fluff. They're fluffing him.
There we go. You'll have this now, and everybody knows I am in no way, shape, or form an Ohio State fan, a fan of most of any player that has ever played on that team, of all of the teams. But I will give Julian Sayin his recognition. I'm going to read some stuff to you, and this will probably shock you. 77% completion percentage, 3,610 yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 177.5, and a QBR that ranked 3rd in the country at 88.4.
Yeah, none of those surprised me. That's what this team did last year. He was a hell of a game manager. He did exactly what they asked him to do.
Yeah. Yep. His average was okay, 9.2. It wasn't crazy.
I mean, 77% is absurd, by the way. That is
insane. Yeah.
For college, professional, whatever, that's absurd. But they catered the offense specifically to his skill set, and his skill set, aside from occasionally taking the top off, is usually mid routes, in breaking routes, high completion routes.
So I'm just looking, not at all. So I'm looking at him compared to Fernando's. Fernando's 72% completion, which again
ridiculous. Is absurd.
He had 35 yardage wise. But again, he didn't play half of the fourth quarters. I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Sayin had some of that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same average, 9.3. He had obviously 41 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, so he wins there. And slightly worse quarterback rating, 182.9. So I mean, he's a really good player. I just think that we give him the he's got Jeremiah Smith and who else was the other? Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna have Chris Henry and Jeremiah Smith, and he's always gonna have these massive, big time, nationally recognized wide receivers, right? Well, I mean, Texas should. If they were good, you would know their wide receivers, right? Florida, I mean, all these, Georgia, all these players are big time players at these schools, whether the program's up or down. You just don't know about them because they're not good. Like, the teams aren't good. It all comes down to the quarterback position. I'm saying Julian Sayin, I think he's right there. I think he's probably better than Arch Manning.
Julian is benefiting from a hell of a situation to be
yes.
in. I mean, it's the most, maybe one of the top 3 or 4 most coveted positions to be in, is to be the quarterback of a team that has every weapon you want, has all the recruiting resources, has all the NIL resources. Like, that's where you want to be. And all they have to do is get the ball to their playmakers. That's all they're asking them to do. I mean, it's a hell of a place. It's a great position to be in. This is way more Julian Sayin talk than I expected today. But I think that when you talk about like Fernando Mendoza, he had to go out there and win a couple games. Not a ton, but had to go out there and win a couple. Julian Sayin never was asked to win a game. He was never asked to win a first down. He was never asked to win anything. He was asked to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers, and he did a hell of a job at that. And so that's why it's a little bit different. It's you put those stats side by side and you're like, oh, they're very similar. But the way they went about the game, where Fernando was calling, was helping pick up the line. He was helping making sure that, the read routes and the RPOs and all that stuff went off to perfection. He was kind of the the CEO of the offense.
There you go. No, I wasn't going to do any more.
Completely different.
Exactly. I wasn't going to do any more Jay and Salem talk. So, but I have to come back. So the 2 times he was asked to win games, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Big Ten championship
mm-hmm.
and the Cotton Bowl.
Yep.
And they lost both of those games.
One was, and the Miami one was
all him.
Was
I
ugly,
think, right?
I mean, I don't.
That was a great play, honestly, on the screen.
Oh, yeah,
that was insane.
Yes,
but yes, that was. They're going to point to him, right? That was his pick 6 that changed the game. So, all right, let's move on. Back to IU. We'll do some actual like legitimate awards type things, right? Where the Lot Impact Trophy watch list, the Lot Impact being the best defensive player / character award. It's kind of a big deal, but not. It's kind of like NFL Man of the Year, right? But just for defense. There's 2 players named, and a guy that I'm surprised, or a guy that you've been like all over in a massive ascension, really, since he sealed the national championship game, is Jamari Sharp and Tyreek Tucker are the 2 that are named on the watch list from IU. Again, it means more than what an Athlon preseason All-American team means. But I mean, do you any stock in this other than a certificate or something?
Nah, these are the lists that are really nice to have. They're the ones that the coaches and the administrators send the really nice letters on behalf of, saying all the wonderful things about these people. So there is a lot of character involvement. So of course you love to have your name associated with that, your program associated with that. But I mean, preseason watch list, regardless of what it's for, it's all just window dressing. It's very cool. It's great to know that there's the exposure there. And the thing I like about, Tyreek and Jamari is that they excelled in really high levels last year. In kind of, Tyreek had a bunch of other really good players around him, and he's the one who ended up kind of benefiting from a lot of the attention that they took away from him. And the same way that Jamari Sharp benefited so much from Pons being on the opposite side. They tried to pick on him, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But all of those reps are going to build into something really special this year, where now that he's expected to be in the Pons situation or whatever the, CB1 role is, he has the size, he has the quickness, he has all of that stuff to really blend together. So I expect him to be on a lot of watch lists.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's it. Program news wise, I don't think there's anything else that's really come out of significance. I'm trying to just rack my brain here real quick. I don't believe so. So yeah, we'll jump right into the schedule preview, the July version of schedule preview, game number 6, which will take place Saturday, 10/10. That's October 10th. For those that don't believe in numbered dates, I don't know if that's a thing or not. It's at Nebraska at Fake Memorial Stadium. I don't know what you're doing. He's showing me his wrist.
Oh, I have a 10/10 tattoo.
There you go. Fake Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. TV is TBD. We do not need to play the TV game unless you have interest in said TV game? Do you have interest in the game that Brandon likes to play about where will this game be?
No, absolutely not. But there's a huge fear that both these teams are going to be 5-0 going into this game.
They should be.
I just looked at the calendar, and this is going to end up being a primetime, big time. Not maybe I'm primetime, colloquially, not necessarily 8:00 primetime.
I don't know if it's
a big boy game.
Yes, I don't know if it's taken yet or not, but this has 3:30 CBS written all over it.
Yep.
All right. So we'll get into it. Series history. IU leads the series 11-9 with 3 ties. Previous matchup came 2 years ago. It was I guess you would call it the national come out game for IU, where they beat the brakes off of them 56-7. It was the game where Gus Johnson announced, ladies and gentlemen, they have a football team. I believe that was the exact quote, which good for him. It's turned out to be pretty accurate. Here's the fun part. So you said you expect them to come in 5-0. DraftKings has their over under win total at 6.5.
And that's spot on. That's a great number.
Yes. With Joel Klatt picking the under on that.
And Joel Klatt's an occasionally smart man.
Yes. Here's the fun part. I was tricked by DraftKings because I went there first to look for their schedule and their over-under at the same time. They didn't show me the end of the schedule. So initially I had wrote down the toughest games all come in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had
don't stop coming.
Well, I had then written, it's the easiest Big Ten schedule I've ever seen. And then I counted that there's only 7 Big Ten games on said schedule. Then I looked at the whole thing, and they have 2 stretches that might be the toughest in the conference. Mm-hmm. The first one I nicknamed, did not take this from anybody. If it did come from something else, I promise you I did not read it. I came up from my own giant head. Rocktober is what I'm calling it. Mm-hmm. They play in the stretch of 10-10 to 10-31, IU at Oregon. They get a bye week, and then they play Washington at home.
Which I think Washington is going to be.
They're going to be good.
A much improved team.
They're a top half of the Big Ten team. Top third of the Big Ten.
And will likely travel now. Not. Like their team will travel, not necessarily fans, but I think the team is going to get much better.
They'll be fine. Yes, good quarterback, good core. So then in between, I believe
Illinois.
You get Illinois and Rutgers, which are one of those. They've got there's some stuff coming up here at the end, at the overall part, where we'll kind of give you an idea of where their 6 win or maybe 6.5, 7th win could come from. They end the season with Ohio State at home and at Iowa.
No chance in either of those games.
No, those are, I think, of the 5 games I've named: IU at Oregon, Washington, Ohio State, and at Iowa. They're lucky 3 of them are at home, I guess, but none of those, they will be remotely, I would say,
double-digit dogs.
Probably, yes, in every one of those. A lot of that credit goes to their head coach, your favorite, Matt Rule, who's going into his 4th season. I think you could cosplay Matt Rule if you wanted to, by the way. I think you could. You'd have to do something different with the beard a little bit, but I think you could pull off a Matt Rule.
I'd have to find how to get much more disappointment in my eyes. Like his eyes just be like, this is like not what I expected.
He's got sad puppy dog eyes.
Yeah.
Constantly. Yeah. And he's always frowning. But he's 19-19. And so I immediately wrote, right? But they're on a high, dude. They came off of beating the brakes off of Utah in whatever bowl they were in. Probably the Las Vegas Bowl or something.
I think it was.
They lost
to Utah by 22.
Oh, just kidding. Utah beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah, their last 3 games last year, they lost by 27 at Penn State, lost by 24 to Iowa, and 22 to Utah.
That's right. And they gave up 40 points to Iowa, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that
37, 40, and 44.
To their defense, those were the games without Dylan Raiola.
Well, shit, Latib or whoever it was looked better than Raiola did, so that was a plus.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's
talk here real quick. I wrote, is he on the hot seat? And then I immediately Googled what his contract is.
No.
He has a 90% guarantee contract on an $82 million contract. He's signed through 2032, and his buyout, I believe, going into this season, based on what I read, is $15 million. So I don't know what we paid Tom Allen. What did we pay him? 10? I mean, they might pay him 15 to get out of town, but then they owe him everything else. Is that how that works? 90% guarantee they would pay him out the rest of his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There might be some offsets if he takes a job somewhere else, but
true. I didn't dive into it that much. But yeah, dude, his seat's hot, but I don't think he can go anywhere. So let's get into his team. Not so hot, really, because as I mentioned, Patrick Mahomes wannabe Jr., Dylan Raiola Jr., he moves over to Oregon. Did so while Dante Moore was projected number 2 overall in the draft. Well, he preed a little bit too hard, and Dante Moore comes back to school, and now he gets to ride the bench. And I've seen this. If you Google Dylan Raiola's name, one of the articles that will immediately pop up is talking about how Oregon and Texas have one of the deepest quarterback rooms in the country. So now we're digging that deep to where we can get Dylan Raiola's name into the news so we can talk about depth at quarterback 2. Okay, gotcha. So he gets to ride the bench this season while Dante Moore shines. And then they bring in one of the favorites of the pod, I believe, gunslinger.
Since Virginia days.
Since Virginia. I hated him at UNLV. But UNLV transfer quarterback Anthony Colandrea, I liked him a lot at Virginia because they were down a lot of points and the guy was just throwing the ball wherever he wanted to.
He's a gamer.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, he was getting rocked while he's trying to get rid of the ball 40 yards down the field, completely blind. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But it's a big downgrade, right? I mean, this guy, he's played ball, but I think Dylan Raiola has it, right? I just don't think that he's never had the talent around him. I don't like the whole Patrick Mahomes-y thing he's got going on, and everybody points to that. I just did it. But I think he's got talent. I don't see it here. What are your thoughts on Colandrea? He's going to run, right?
I looked at this offense and defense of 2 deep. I'm still looking at it. It reminds me a lot of Purdue's roster.
It's not good. It's not good.
There is a whole soup of about 6 to 8 teams at the bottom half of the Big Ten that all have rosters that look just like this. It's all transfers. It's, I remember hearing that guy's name, but whatever happened in the last 2 years? Or he was on Georgia's roster at some point, wasn't he?
Oh, that's Purdue. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's this roster too. And Nebraska loves being the homegrown, corn-fed team normally. And Trev Alberts, when he was the AD there, was just an absolute dumpster fire of dog shit. And he's the whole
former
reason
Colt, by the way.
Yeah, he's the whole reason that Matt Rule's there in the first place. And then he leaves his own alma mater to go to Texas A&M, where he opens up a brand new can of dog shit there. Anyways, sorry, I just wanted to say some bad things about Trev Albert for a minute. But the whole thing with Colandrea is, who gives a shit, right? There is no quarterback that could have come in here and worked some kind of magic. There is no drop off from Donovan Raiola either. I think you're absolutely delusional to there is any kind, well, I don't care, that there is any kind of talent there that was being missed out on or was being misappropriated or was being somehow misused. What you saw is what he has. That's it. He is a hype machine. His dad and his uncle have built him up for the last 6 or 7 years. The whole recruiting process was an absolute shit show. It was unprofessional. It was unbelievably naive. It was an egomaniacal daydream from these people. But ultimately, when he got on the field, he produced an inferior product. He was not a competent quarterback. He was not a winner. He was a guy who thought Texas Tech was going to roll out the red carpet for him and let him be Patrick Mahomes 2.0. And he was going to live out this wet dream fantasy that he's had since he was 12 years old. He thought this was going to happen. And instead they said, no, we want a better quarterback. We want Brendan Sorsby. And now,
they gambled on that one, didn't they?
Yeah, didn't they? And then Dante Moore gets exposed twice by IU as having some severe limitations. He's got some limitations. The decision-making process, it can be fixed, but it's not there right now. He is a one-read guy. That's it. So he's like, oh, shit, I got to develop. I got to put in the time. And now JV Ravioli's sitting there as QB2 in Oregon, trying to rub two nickels together so that he can be talked about as a QB depth piece in some article that nobody's reading. This is where we're at. This is NIL. This is all a result of you give some kid with an ego and some delusional family members, and you start pumping money into them, start pumping some views, some clicks, some articles. This is the shit shows we're going to have. Pivoting back to Calandria now is
do you need a drink, by the way? Do you need to calm down here?
There might be a couple dead spaces here after I get done talking, but we'll get to that. Calandria is a wonderful athlete. He's one of those guys who you really root for. He's a gunslinger. He's going to get every single ounce of athletic talent out of his right arm that he possibly can. When we watched him at Virginia, he had no offensive line. He had no running game. His receivers were small, and they were playing so hard for him, and they were pulling stuff out of their ass that they had no reason doing. And it was just, I think it was the Florida State game. We ended up finding out that Florida State team was awful, and it didn't matter anyways. But then he goes to UNLV because they have that whole shit show, and he doesn't want to be in Virginia anymore. And then UNLV's coach goes to Purdue, so UNLV, whatever. Who cares? Latif was fine. They're not a quarterback away from being a talented team. This team needs an entire roster churn. This team needs an entire program administration overhaul. These are not the right players. These are not the right team. So we can talk until we're tired about the potential of some of these players, the pedigree of some of these players. But this is not a program on the level of Big Ten mediocrity.
Okay.
It's subpar.
That was it.
Subpar.
That was a rant. You did say you were going to talk about you did say you were going to have 20 minutes on Raiola, which
I said I'd find a way to wedge it in there.
Yes, you did. I'm like, he doesn't play for them anymore. I mentioned him for a second, but that's about it. Oh, so you didn't even we'll get into it because the people that don't or haven't looked at it, that's kind of the whole reason why we do these, is because it's not good and it's gotten worse over the last 2 days. So their best player last year, Emmett Johnson, running back, is going to be really good
for the Chiefs.
Could be a really good fantasy pick in fantasy draft. Just saying.
Yep.
He's gone, right? And that's big shoes. That's 1,200 yards. That's a lot of touchdowns.
If you want to talk about a talent that was underutilized by the staff, that's the guy you can talk to and say
100%. Yes. And so they got to fill the shoes, right? So you'd think I got to bring in a big time transfer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have to have big time production behind him that played last year. They did none of that.
Oh,
they have a player who did pretty well against Utah. He had 88 yards and a touchdown in their bowl game. It was really probably the first time that they really got so much rushing yards out of him because Johnson didn't play.
But let me guess.
He just got arrested.
Oh, no.
Yes.
And it's bad, too, isn't it?
It's bad. I'm not going to get into it.
Right?
It involves a pregnant girlfriend. Allegedly. Allegedly, he's not been convicted, allegedly, of doing physical harm to his pregnant girlfriend. So that
what else do they have?
Yeah. Isaiah Mosey,
he
moseyed for 115 yards on 26 carries.
Okay.
Last year. And then true freshman, which College Football News, who I read the preview on, said is a highly touted freshman. Went and looked him up. Name's Jamal Rule. No relation to Matt. Spelled totally differently. Is a 3-star, middle of the pack, 86 overall.
Whoa.
Running back.
Whoa, hold on. You mean Ja Rule?
No.
I'm mesmerized by his talent. He's a guy who's always on time.
Oh my
Put it
God.
on me if he's not a stud.
Oh
I'm real, bro. I'm real.
God. Nobody that listens to this podcast is going to get your Ja Rule references right there. And that is why you needed 5 to 10 minutes to prep. Now, I understand. I'm not even mad because that's amazing. Wow. I didn't even think about that. That's incredible. All right. Let's move to the wideout position where they did bring in somebody, right?
Yeah.
One person. They brought in Quasi Gilmer from UCLA. You guys might have heard him.
I like him.
Pretty decent player, 6'2" wide receiver. Didn't put up a ton of numbers at UCLA, but who did?
How could
right with that offense? That's it. That's it. There's returning players there, but their wide receiver room was terrible last year. So they've got that, right? And then speaking of terrible, their offensive line, real bad. 115th in sacks allowed last season. But at least they're trying to fix it, right? They bring in a guy from South Carolina. They bring in a tackle from Iowa State. They've got a decent left tackle already there. They brought in some other stuff for the interior.
Mubanga's from LSU.
Trying. Yes. They're trying there. But it's still, that's a lot to fix on the offensive side.
It's usually their strongest position too. Traditionally, since the 70s and 80s, they've always had, like, Iowa and Nebraska and Minnesota have always just had amazing offensive lines. It's just, you can just print it and expect it. And when Matt Rule came here, that was one of the things he promised was, I'm going to be smash mouth. I'm going to be, I'm going to be trench warfare kind of guy. Dude hasn't done dick. Like there has been no offensive line toughness. There's been no defensive line toughness. It just has been non-existent. These cats they brought in, Babalade. He looks really good at right tackle, Black at right guard. So they look to be improved, but I still expect them to be unspectacular. I don't expect this to be a Nebraska offensive line of old. I expect them to be kind of average. And that's going to be a huge upgrade for them. If they go from 115th to 60th, that's a huge win for them. I just don't think there's enough there for it to matter.
I mean, they could go 115th to 60th just because they have Calandria.
Correct. Because he's going to escape a hell of a lot of sacks.
But yes, it's a lot of work on what was a middle of the road offense last year outside of the running game. One player in the running game to be exact. But yes, you spoke right to it. You think Nebraska, you think big, tough offensive line, and you think really good defense. Well, their defense was decent.
Oh, hold on. Let me just say, Luke Lindemeyer, decent tight end. That's the only other guy that I kind of liked him.
I left him off on
but that's
accident.
That's it.
They bring in a new defensive coordinator, Rob Ulrich from San Diego State. San Diego State had a really good defense last year. San Diego State plays in the Mountain West. So
Pac-12.
Now it's Pac-12, right? So take that with what you want. But he brings over a couple pretty good players. Linebacker who's big, 6'3", Owen Chambliss. And then a safety in Dwayne McDougal, who had 4 picks last season. They come over, as well as this. This one gave me a chuckle. Former defensive lineman from IU, along with every other school in the country, Anthony Jones comes to Nebraska for his 5th stop within the Big Ten, starting at Oregon, going to IU, to Michigan State, to UCLA, and now to Nebraska. He brings with him all of 1.5 sacks of last season and 10 tackles. I believe is what I looked at. That is the big transfer outside of the 2 San Diego State guys that they're bringing in. Now, they are bringing in some other stuff in the defensive backfield across the defensive line, right? But nothing that points to this as being a big-time black shirt, right? That's the big thing. The big black shirt defense. Here's the problem. Even when they were good last year, they allowed 79% of their red zone trips ended in touchdowns.
Ugh.
That is dead last in the country. Now, I wanted to go look at IU, right? IU was 40th. I think it was like I can't remember. There were points allowed 20%. I can't remember what it was, but Ohio State was number 1 overall in the country. Again, Nebraska allowed 79% rate of touchdowns every time you cross the 20. Ohio State at number 1 allowed 37%. That is a 42% difference. It's insane. Now, the difference is I think IU was very good and Ohio State was very good at not allowing teams to get to the red zone to begin with. So that could also help. But no, the defense last year, not bad. Not bad. Middle of the road, just not as great as they probably thought they were. So here we go. Let's get into it. We'll wrap it up real quick. And then I think that's probably it. But either way, overall, it should be a strong start. It should be 5-0. They start Ohio, Bowling Green, North Dakota, all at home. They go to Michigan State, which might, maybe, and then they've got Maryland at home.
So there's also a chance they lose every single one of those games too.
Ohio's pretty good. Bowling Green's decent.
Yeah. Those are solid MAC programs. Dakota. North Dakota is a solid FCS program. Of course, they shouldn't lose any of the games. They shouldn't.
Yeah.
But I also don't have faith in this team either. So
we read those 5, right? So that's 5. Over under 6.5. Then you have, in whatever order, IU, Oregon, Washington, Ohio State, Iowa, Illinois, Rutgers. You got to find 2 more wins out of that group.
It's Rutgers
to get over 6.5. And I think Rutgers is better.
Rutgers is better. Or actually, they're improved. I don't know if they're better than Nebraska per se, but they're much improved too. So
that's the thing, right? So you were talking about that earlier, about how there's nothing on this offense.
Nothing.
You can point to things at Rutgers and say they kind of tried with the quarterback.
Yeah.
They've got a really good running back. They have a really good wide receiver. Their offensive line sucks. Their defense, they have a piece here, a piece there. You can't do that on this.
So I do like Vincent Shavers. He's their middle linebacker. He's their junior, but I think last year he only had 70 tackles. So it's not like he was some amazing, top flight production guy. And then I really like, but it's a crapshoot because he's a true freshman, is Danny Odom III. He's a true freshman cornerback that they brought in that they're really hype on. I think he's from Pennsylvania. And supposedly they're going to try to get him as much playing time as possible. But you're right. It's the same thing I said before. I don't see who their NFL player is. I don't see who their, now I have NCAA 27. The roster is available. I can't play any games for like 3 more days. But I'm not seeing anybody on here who's like, oh, that's the guy who is the over 85 ranked guy. That's the 87. That's the 91. I don't see that guy on here. And quite frankly, a lot of these guys are kind of on the older side of it too. So, they're redshirt seniors, redshirt juniors. So they are who they are at this point. This is kind of their last chance. And so, there's not a lot of youth on this roster to get excited about either. It's a really weird 2 deep that I'm trying to look at and analyze. And where's the excitement coming from?
There's no excitement here. We'll tell you that much. But again, famous last
sorry,
word.
I forgot. Ja'Cory Barney Jr. He's the guy who is the gadget guy. He was a freshman. He ran a lot more as a freshman than he did. He's probably still only around about 400 yards. But he's like a punt return, kick return kind of slot guy. But if you don't have a number 1 receiver to offset him against, it's a lot easier to kind of contain him. But yeah, I was trying to think. I knew they had a receiver that maybe more against Purdue, but had quite a bit more flashes.
Yeah, the name doesn't ring a bell. Now, granted, I didn't watch very much Nebraska last year, so
well, I'm trying to pull up the game from 2 years ago against IU. I'm guessing he probably didn't have a
There wasn't a whole lot to be excited about.
That's what I'm saying.
That team last year.
Oh, he had 8 catches for 32 yards.
Oh, well, there you go. Typical.
One rush for 7 yards and a TD.
Okay, so he's the one that scored the touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I remember him. And then he did have a decent game
then.
against Purdue.
Yeah.
4 carries for 66 yards and a touchdown against Purdue. Yeah. That as a rookie or as a freshman.
It still doesn't bother me too much. All right. We don't have anything else, right? You have no sack. I don't have a stump this Seth. Let me think if I can come up with one. I don't think so. Other than no, I can't do it.
No,
I cannot do it.
We've somehow talked 40 minutes already. Let's count that as a win. I forgot to remind you to take a break between offense and defense. So
you did.
I can't produce and play my character at the same time. It's just impossible.
Got you. Well, lucky for them, there's no there won't be a middle ad on this one.
Ooh.
So congratulations, guys.
Wait, I'm gonna get the midnight text from Garrett. Cool.
Yeah.
Send him a $6 refund.
Hold on. No. Garrett. Oh yeah. Garrett is a Patreon member.
Yeah. Is.
Since we did not plan on doing this, but we will tell you, if you guys don't like the ads, we haven't really done anything with it, but we have to do it. We'll say that we have to do that. So if you don't want that, for a measly $3 a month, which is as low as I think we can put it, you could join our Patreon. It's easy. Just go to Patreon or just search Patreon Hoosier Happy Hour. It'll pop right up. It's $3 a month. There are 0 ads on that. Nothing to start, nothing to finish, nothing in the middle. The other ones are mandated. Have to do those.
We should do a Seth Fireball shot donation starting once the season starts.
Oh, that's smart.
Where they pay like $3 or $5 to watch me like. I can taste it in my throat already.
Hell yeah, dude. We can start it in Denver. We can do it preseason.
Well, I'll have to get my tolerance up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, if everybody didn't start dropping off. If anybody wants to go to Denver, reach out on Twitter. It's the week before the season starts. We are losing people left and right for whatever reason. I don't know if they didn't tell their wife or what they did. It was stupid crap they didn't do. But yeah, that weekend, it's not free. You got to pay.
Finding out people don't have family calendars is just mind-blowing at this time.
Although I did just get invited to another outing.
Oh, here we go.
In August. And so
I can't afford to work. I have to go to a golf outing. Summers are so miserable in my industry.
That is work. Now, as long as I don't get invited to a concert afterward, I'll be excited because it is on another Monday with the same people.
Oh, wait, hold on. My concert's, I think, Tuesday night. I was going to say, I'll bring you to one.
Oh, all right. That's fine.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. Spain 1, Austria 0 at halftime, in case you cared. Until the next one, which I don't remember what it is. Oh, it's Ohio State.
Ooh, it's a big one.
Ooh, we get into some big games. I was trying to look to see which one we could double up.
Yeah.
But they're all big except for like Purdue and Minnesota. Like that's it. There's Ohio State, Michigan, Washington, Purdue, and Minnesota.
I just love how quickly Purdue has become an afterthought. It's just so funny. It's like, oh, Purdue and IU, it's the biggest podcast of the year. Now it's like, oh, if we put another shitty team week 11, we can just double up the Purdue podcast. Don't have to worry about that bullshit anymore.
How did we get a non-conference game at the end of the season? This is insane. I was gonna say, let me see if there's even a line. I mean, we've got some time. We haven't, not like we're sitting here fucking. Oh, shouldn't have said that.
Wow.
Like we're sitting here. Whoa, dude. The line for North Texas IU. What was it originally?
I don't know. I thought I was
40.5.
Oh, I thought I was predicting like 27, 29.5, something like that. I thought we were
40.5.
Yeah, that does sound right now.
I was trying to see if they've got anything else.
Remember, we do not cover the first couple of games. I've learned the lesson the wrong way the last few years. We are not early season coverers.
Oh, this is so crazy. You might want to go get it on FanDuel. FanDuel's got it at 39.5.
All right.
I was trying to see if there was a line out for that Purdue game yet, and there's not. Okay. All right.
I got a line. You say cheers so I can say my line.
Yeah. That's it. Till next time. Cheers.
Soccer podcast.
Oh my God.